there's Tapete's Rapids, and there's Bedrock, and there's Deuceland. So we're in here. Here's Stone.
Woo! Good job.
It only took me an hour.
Nice job. Yeah, so we are we're right here.
Right where Deb said.
So we are heading kind of north for a minute right now, which is kind of odd. We are going right now around this huge mesa called the Great Thumb Mesa, which, if you remember before, we made this huge turn around the Valhalla Plateau. This was the Little Colorado coming in here. We entered into the Inner Granite Gorge right here at Hance Rapid, and we've been in the Inner Gorge. Here's South Rim. We've been in the Inner Gorge this whole time, basically until we ran Waltenberg, which is...
That was a fun one.
Right there. I know
Right
it
there.
well.
Waltenberg. So this basically the Inner Gorge went from Waltenberg, Hance Rapid, all the way to Waltenberg. Then we have Deer Creek right here, another pretty large drainage, and then we have a really large drainage right here called Kanab, which is mile 144 and a half. Kanab Creek, you can basically walk out all the way to Kanab, Utah. Really? Really, really large drainage. It's a long way.
I know, but I'm just curious.
I think it's probably about...
I try. I come back.
Tomorrow, we're gonna be visiting this zone right here, which is the Havasupai drainage. Hopefully, if the weather is all right, we'll visit Havasu, and then we're off the map. So
Off the map.
we're almost off the map, and we take out down by Jody's sandal down there.
Move a little closer, Jody.
So just it's kind of
No, move back.
an interesting place where we are heading north. Today we'll enter into the Muav Gorge, and the Muav is a gorge in the Muav limestone. The Muav limestone is just below the Redwall limestone, and the Muav Gorge is kind of an interesting place in Grand Canyon because it's the ecological barrier in Grand Canyon. So basically, we're on the eco zone between the Mojave and Sonoran deserts. So the Mojave Desert is west of us, so we're going to be entering into the Mojave, and so a lot of plant species and bird species don't make their seed migration or their migration past the Moab Gorge. So we'll start seeing Mojave Desert plants. Creosote is one of them. The ocotillo is another one. So we'll start seeing some different plants down in the Mojave Gorge, or the Moab Gorge. And after we get through the Moab Gorge, we'll be in the Mojave Desert. So coming out of the Sonoran Desert.
Looks like the horse doesn't make it either. Dead horse.
No, nothing really makes it through the Moab Gorge. Some folks say that if there was ever a geological failure in Grand Canyon, it would be in the Moab Gorge because the Moab sits right on top of the Bright Angel Shale. So the Bright Angel Shale is kind of right at river level, and the Moab rock is below it, so it's getting super saturated. And so the Moab Gorge, the rock layers are starting to like bulge in, and so people think if there was ever a geologic failure, it would be the Moab Gorge just failing on top of the Bright Angel Shale. So look for those kind of compression fractures and cracks, and you can actually see it almost looks like it's like bulging in. It's kind of a wild spot. So
It's caused a natural dam.
it would cause a natural dam, and this is, geologic time that we're talking about, but there's a geologist named Peter Huntoon who studied the Moab Gorge and was just like, I don't know how long this thing is gonna last. Yeah, but I wanted to read a story about this area that we're in right now. So we've got Galloway Creek that comes in just above Dubendorf Rapid, and we've got Stone Creek coming in right where we're camped. And this was this whole area was named after a trip that had a little bit of a mishap here. But this area was named after a trip that came down in 1909 And it was one of the first trips that came down just for pleasure, meaning that they weren't studying anything, they weren't trying to like map anything, they weren't trying to build a railroad, they weren't trying to mine, they weren't trying to do anything but just come down for fun. And it was financed by a guy named Julius Stone, who was a wealthy businessman and wanted to see the Grand Canyon, so he hired some folks to come down with him. And he hired a guy by the name of Nathaniel Galloway, and Nathaniel Galloway was kind of responsible for figuring out that flat bottom boats were the way to go down here. A lot of the earlier trips had used boats called Whitehall boats that had keels, so Powell used those, and so did Stanton. But Nathaniel Galloway started building boats, and he built them by watching ducks swim. So ducks are kind of flat bottomed, and so he watched how ducks pivoted and moved in rivers and on water. And so he's like, I think a flat bottomed boat would be good. And so that's how flat bottomed boats, wooden boats, started making their way into Grand Canyon, was Nathaniel Galloway. So Julius Stone.
Did he also decide different rowers to face downstream?
Yep, and he developed the face downstream technique. And it was called stern first, like they'd turn around and face downstream, but with their stern first. But he thought facing downstream so you could see where you're going was a better way to go. So Nathaniel Galloway kind of revolutionized boats and river running techniques in Grand Canyon. But they came down and they were running everything, and they got to Dubendorf Rapid and they had an incident, and I think it's just kind of a funny. So this is Stone's journal, and he writes about the incident. We go on at 11:05, still running everything without mishap, until 3:15 when we arrive at a rather bad rapid. Here, as in several previous instances, we do not agree amongst ourselves as to the best method of running it. Galloway picks his course along the right where there are quite a number of rocks but no big waves. I incline to the open water, even though it is rough, while Doobie, so this guy's name is Seymour Sylvester Dubendorf. What a name. While Doobie, coming last, avails himself of the route taken by the one who gets through more easily. Galloway goes ahead, I next, and dropping into an eddy below the first rock, I see he has been unable to follow the course he picked out. His boat strikes a partly submerged rock 20 feet from the place he tried to reach. This confirms my decision that the heavy water is safer. For me, it turns out to be correct, as I go through all okay, getting wet, of course. However, on looking around at the first opportunity to do so safely, I see Doobie's boat on the crest of a big wave near the upper end of the rapid. Then it goes out of sight, reappears in the act of turning over almost endwise, and comes down bottoms up. Now and then I glimpse his head bobbing up a moment, then disappearing again, but out of sight of the greater part of the time. I call to Galloway and try to catch the bow line of Dubendorf's boat as it reaches me, but I am unable to do so because the high canvas sides on my own. So they had these wooden, flat-bottomed, dory-ish kind of boats, but really low sides, and they would put these canvas sides on the boat to keep the water so the wind wouldn't cover the canvas. But I'm unable to do so because of the high canvas sides on my own, not having had time to drop them. Galloway slips his line through the iron handhold at its stern, takes a hitch around his leg, and so tows it to the right bank before it reaches the next rapid. I pick up the other things as they float down, then Galloway and I strip off, go into the water, turn the boat right side up, pull it onto the rocks, and tip the water out. In the meantime, Dubendorf, who so suddenly decided to run this one without a boat, and succeeded, has crawled out about 300 yards below where the spill occurred. He comes down to help us. His head is pretty badly cut, and with the blood streaming down over his face, he surely looks unhandsome.
Just a matter of opinion.
Just a matter of opinion. Still, his first words are, "I'd like to try that again. I know I can run it." This is another good line. He's as gritty as a flapjack rolled in sand. But all's well that ends well, for we soon cross to the left bank, build a fire in a sheltered spot, and warm ourselves. I tinker up the cut on Doobie's head. The wet stuff is spread out on the rocks to dry, and, but for a broken oar, there is soon small evidence of trouble. It seems that when Dubendorf's boat went over in the first big wave, the end of the extra oar lashed on the deck behind the cockpit and projecting over the stern, caught on a rock. The speed and inertia of the boat were such that it went over endwise. This is the last rapid in Conquistador Isle, so named in the Shinemu quadrangle of the government map. And here's the other line that it kind of gets in. Whoever runs it successfully at a corresponding stage of water will know the satisfaction of having accomplished a man's job. 20 rapids today with no trouble except this noted. So,
how do you feel about that?
Different times.
Did they have life jackets?
Different times. So this area, Galloway, Stone, Dubendorf, named after that 1909 trip. Stone.
Very good. Did they have life jackets back then, or were they?
They did. So Powell actually had life jackets on the first trip. It was the second trip in 1889 that did not bring life jackets, and that was the Brown Stanton expedition that was surveying down here for a railroad, and they ran into a lot of trouble.
Did they ever say why he chose not to have a life jacket?
So Frank M. Brown was the initial person that was surveying for the railroad, and that expedition asked Powell about the trip, and so Powell steered him towards getting the Whitehall boats and told him to bring life jackets, and they had cheaper boats built of the same model but cheaper, and decided that they did not need life jackets. No one really knows why. And back then life jackets were made out of cork, like old cork life jackets. So
What you get?
yeah, so that is so if anyone ever wants to see this book, it's kind of really good. Thank you. Let's go. We'll go down. Yeah. Oh yeah. So, wir Wanderer werden jetzt hier ausgesetzt und die Boote sind zusammengebunden worden, weil 3 Guides gehen mit uns auf dem Piano Trail.
Alright, hikers.
Da ist das Piano.
Here they go.
The piano.
On around. Yo! Woohoo!
Good job, guys.
Yeah, this is, I like this. So, die Boote sind fast am Ziel. Wir brauchen noch ein Stück. Da in der Mitte sind unsere Boote.
You have some more kind of loop around here and go. It's all about the down.
So, wir müssen jetzt noch hier über den Sattel und dann gehen wir runter. Vor dem Braunen gehen wir runter in den Creek. Glaube ich. Oder müssen wir noch über das Braune? Ich weiß es gerade nicht. Auf jeden Fall hier sieht man so ein Stück Trail und dann müssen wir über das nächste noch drüber. Hier kann man noch eine ganz kleine Spitze von dem blauen Boot sehen. Da unten Deer Creek, da habe ich irgendwo gecampt.
Oh, nice.
Ja. My first night cowboy camping was here because I was too lazy to set up the tent. Deer Creek.
last month. And everybody kind of looked at me, and I looked down here and go, "Nope, Donnie, you're imagining things." Yeah, I've been.
Okay, I know where it's going.
Careful in the back there, Jody. Looks pretty bouncy. Hold on. Ooh. Still in the boat? Good.
Yes. Seth, is this something I said?
Yeah.
Harry, you look like Mark. You look like pink spots back there.
Yeah. Now Dave has to hear our stories.
Want some of this?
No, thank you. Careful for the boat. Don't let him get pinched. I was concerned with in between the two boats. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was just on the side. There was a ton of water, but then that wasn't quite scary. Right. We need to squash it. Big wave day.
Did you get that?
Got that on film. Oh yeah, that is awesome.
He wanted.
You had that.
I wanted. He wanted that I flew.
He didn't know he was going to go out.
That was the stupid plan. I don't know. Climbed in. He went out, he went in.
You guys want your rower back?
You alright?
Nice plan.
Your hat stayed on. I had my hood on.
Your glasses?
I didn't went back. Sure. I didn't mean to be quite that close, sorry. Coming in for support. Did you get it, Cotty?
It's a long video.
Okay. We're on our own now? Yeah, we're on our own.
Oh no!
Is he in the seat at all?
Dave went swimming! So funny.
He's all over that boat, wasn't he?
You hike the middle down to the river.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So from the river up and back again, or?
Then I had
It's
pack raft, floated all the way to Lava Falls, and hiked out Lava Falls.
But how do you get to the middle?
You drive down a road, and you take this side canyon called